Good evening guys, and welcome to my first ever tutorial video. It's come about after Dan Wood posted a video on the Commodore Amiga Facebook group about his recently purchased Action Replay Mark III. I made a bit of a blasé comment that I might do some tutorials, and some members have said that I should, so here we go. So first of all, I've downloaded the manual. The link it will be in the description below. The manual is a good starting place. It gives you the basics, and if you go to the trainers section, it's chapter 9, I believe. It tells you, how to effectively train Rick Dangerous and a few other games. Now they're quite simple, as when you lose a life in one of those games, it modifies the address directly. So it will do a sub #1, address, whereas Rainbow Island is a little bit different, as it actually uses offsets, and the base offset will be placed in one of the registers, and then it will indirectly reduce from there, making it a little bit harder to train it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by training the continues, nice and easy, and it gives you the basics. Then we're going to train the lives, which is a little bit more difficult. I'll then show you how to enable the upgrades, so your fast V 2 rainbows, fast rainbows, 3 rainbows, and also 4 rainbows, and there's some other things as well. And then I'll show you how to keep the power-ups after dying. If I can remember how. I did this at like 1 o'clock this morning, and yeah, I didn't write anything down. And then we'll look at a couple of other interesting things that I found that I've not fully figured out yet. Maybe one of you guys can do that. So let's start. Just close WinUAE down and reload it, so I can show you how to set up for Rainbow Islands. I'm using the SPS release, which you'll find online. Just Google it. So set an A500 config and set it. I want that game. So Rainbow Islands. Then go to the ROM tab. Make sure you've got the cartridge ROM in your ROM's path, and then select it. I will use WinUAE simply because it's easier than doing it on a real Amiga, and I don't have an Amiga 500 anyway. The other benefits are, warp speed. You can warp mode it, and searching through the memory of a 7 MHz machine isn't quick. So some of the commands that we're going to be using will be, will take a few minutes on a real Amiga, whereas on UAE we can hit warp and it will speed it up massively. The other benefit is save states. Before you make any changes, you can save the state, make the change, and if it crashes, you can just load it back in and be back exactly where you was. I actually started training Rainbow Islands a few years ago, probably about 2009, 2010. There's a thread on EAB forum covering this, and a lot of what I've found made its way into the WHD load version of the game, and this is some of the stuff that I found back then. I've since found more last night, but that's it. And then this is the output of pressing the help button from within the replay ROM, and we're going to mainly use the monitor commands. We're going to use some of the training commands, but mainly use the monitor commands. So we're going to start off with training. What's no sound? With training the credits. So we want to start with 1 credit, and then go into the ROM. It's page up as default in WinUAE, or press the red button on your cartridge. And then you want TS for trainer start on 1, and then wait. And this first one doesn't take long at all. And then we exit out, add a credit, go back in, T2, and there you go. It brings up an address. Now we have two options here. I'm just going to hit warp mode because it takes a bit longer. So we have two options here. We can check the address with the M command, and that tells us we've got 2. So we set that back to 0 and exit out and press space, we'll go back to 1 again. So we know it's the correct address. Now it's actually word aligned, so the actual address is C6. Okay, so what we can do is we can search through memory and see if there's any, there are any instructions that access that part of the memory. See if anything adds or subtracts from there. So we use the command FA, which over here search for an address in opcode in memory, and we want to search the whole of memory, so we don't need to specify. So for hex we can use $, but it defaults to hex anyway. For decimal you want an exclamation mark. So 11C6, press enter. Now this will take a while. Well, I'm just going to let it run normally just so you can see how long an action replay actually takes. So as you can see, it's loaded some up already. It's brought up 1C6, not 11C6 as the memory location in pretty much all of it. Okay, so because it's got a bracket and an A5, it's using, I think it's registered indirect. So there's an offset loaded in A5, and then what it'll do is we'll add that onto A5. So I'm willing to bet that A5 holds 1000 hex, which will give us 11C6 if we add them together. Now the address of interest is the sub Q #1 1C6. That's deducting 1 from that memory location, which tells us that that's more than likely where the credits or the continues go down. If we get rid of that, we should have infinite continues. Okay, and just have a quick look at. I meant to do this last night but completely forgot, and you'll see why later. That's basically the binary the hex opcode for that. Now there's two ways we can do this. We can do it by reassembling the address, so A B33C, and just pop in a NOP and then another one, and then that should take us to 340, which is the next address. Okay, now we should have infinite continues, and if we look at this, it's 471, 471, which we can quite simply have just typed in here directly, and that would have fixed it. However, this using the assemble is better because you can see the address, so you know you're not going to go over the next command. If we exit out, add some more credits, and start a game. And then die. I'll just do this. So we should still have 2 credits. And then we've still got 2 credits. If we go back in and have a look at the memory address, we've still got 2 credits. So we've effectively trained the continues. So let's have a look at lives. So you start the game with 3 lives. So we'll start with TS3. And lose a life. And page up. T2. So straight away it's found our address. So ME33. Remember, everything's word aligned in this game. So this is our live. So if we up it to 6, and you can see we've got 5 lives left. Okay, so we've definitely found the lives. Now we need to train it. Now, the best way I find of doing this is to go back to the credits and set a break point. So I can't remember what address I changed. Okay, so if we set a breakpoint to B340 and then set our lives back to 1 and die. Use a credit and we go in. Now what we want to look at here is the registers. So as I said, over here the offset is in A5, it's 1000. Now the memory address for lives is E336. The interesting thing is A0 contains E330, which is more than likely the offset again for lives. Now if we was to search for lives, because A0 is in memory. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of accesses to the life counter. I'm just going to search it again. This time I'm not going to go into war mode. I need to stop it once I get a sub. Hopefully won't be long. There it is. So we've got a sub there. Okay, so there's a good chance that that's our lives. So just have a look, poke around in that memory. Okay. So it looks like if we set a breakpoint, in fact, I'll just delete all the breakpoints. Set a breakpoint to that sub there, 11C4A, and die. That breakpoint should be raised. There we go. So straight away, if we press R, you can see that A0 contains the offset, A5 contains the other offset. If we just disassemble from there, you can see that we're reducing the lives there at 11C4. So, and then the next command's at 11CE. So we just go A 11C4A and make that a knot, and then 11C4C, make that a knot. That should take us to E, which obviously is moving 0 into D0. All this is relevant to something. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Escape out and continue, and then now we should have infinite lives in theory. So go 2, and we've still got 2, so we now have infinite lives. Okay, so what next? Okay, we can now look to see what changes with regards to power-ups. So every third gives us something. Now we know that E330 is the base address for lives. It's also the base address. So if we go look at it, and look at the picture, the score's 1,530. 01000153. There's our score. So if we change that to whatever we want, 101, and go back to the game. So to collect something, up it goes up. So we know where the score is. Lives are here. And then we've got some 9s here and some information here. So it's this area here we want to be watching, the 10, the 4 and the 10. So we will go back out and we will go and collect a red bottle to give us 2 rainbows. Or we'll die and we'll lose everything. So no fast feed again. Let's go back up and have a look at that memory layer address. We'll see what's changed. So this has gone back to 0. So this is still 10, 0, 10. So what happens if we change something on here? Just make it a 1. This is typically how I work with an action replay. I'll just find an area of memory that I'm confident with, and I will just change things. There you go, and I got double rainbows. So if we make that a 2, what does it give us? We now have 3 rainbows. And now we've got fast feet, but fast feet wasn't enabled. So I know that everything's contained there. So we shall have a look. Okay. So let's die and lose everything. Again, erase, because the breakpoint is still set, which we will need it shortly. Okay, so we go back and look at. That's now 0 again. So I know that that's where we find the power-ups, that they're in that byte there. So that's my feet. So if we can have a look, it's 4. So why is it 4? So we know that 1 is double rainbows, 4 is fast feet. So what we need to do is we need to collect the double rainbow now. Okay, so we've now got the double rainbow. Let's have a look. So it's gone to 5. So it's added 1. We know that the double rainbow is 1, so it's probably in binary. So it's using the individual bits. So I think. Oh, try that. Okay, so there's 3 set. 4 is fast feet, so let's change that to. Try again. So there's fast feet. So binary's got something left. You've got 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, etc. So if we change that to a 0, what do we get? One rainbow. So if we change that one on, turn that one on, what do we get? 3 rainbows. Now I'll let you guys play with this. However, what I am going to show you is this. Change it to F. Okay, so if you look at it, the first 4 are set, and you get 4 rainbows, which is not standard in the game. But obviously when you start a new round, you lose the 4th rainbow. You can only have 3. And when you die, you lose them all. So there you go. It's dropped that one. So back up. So how do we keep our power-ups? This is where we're going to do a little bit of assembler, and we're going to look from when we die. So we're just going to die now, and that will kick us in, and we'll trace it through to what happens when you die. So disassemble. So we're going to follow these. Now these here are to do directly with the bonus system, which is the sequence of what bonus items given, depending on what you've collected and the number of enemies that you've killed. It just counts up. There's 3 counters that are connected. I'll post this file that I created with the video, so you can have a read. Upgrades are exactly what I said. Offset 10, so E340, and it is in binary. So you're just following bits. 1 rainbow, 2 rainbows, 3 rainbows, 4 rainbows, fast feet, fast rainbows, and you can mix and match for a mixture of them all. You can also I didn't go through a lot, but I did manage to turn on invulnerability last night by setting some high ridiculous number. I don't remember what. And then you can force different bonuses by changing these offsets here. Now what this routine here is doing is it's clearing these back to 0, and it does that to force you to start again from fresh. So if we were to delete these later, not so much them particular addresses, but the addresses that modify them, to stop it changing them, we can. So what we'll do is we'll step through with ST, which will execute the next command, and we'll keep going, and we'll just watch the registers and what goes in there. So we know that $10 bracket AO bracket is our power-ups and what they are. So at the minute AO is, it's moving DO, so it's moving what's currently held in D0, which is nil, into the memory location pointed here, which is resetting all that stuff back to 0. So if we delete them, knock them out, they will never change. They will always continue to count. Then 12AO, so if we look at that address, it's got a 10 in it. So it's going to move that into D1, which is here. It's word aligned. It's going to test the last bit, and then branch. What we're looking for is this one here. Okay, we'll just keep stepping through until we move something back into 10 AO. says. Just check. Oh, I somehow missed it. So we'll set that back up and we'll die again. And we'll come back and we'll find it. Just love it when things don't go to plan. So there it is. So if we knock that one out, if I'm right, that should give us and we've got to keep going to 8.2 like that, and hopefully when we come back we'll have no, didn't work. What did I do? Guys, I'm just going to stop there for a minute while I figure this out, otherwise it'll be a while. Okay guys, sorry about that. Okay, so all we need to do, quite literally, is I know I did it last night somehow, is 11C4A is just as an RTS in, and then set this back up to 4 rainbows. Get back to the game. We die. And there you go, still got 4 rainbows. I feel that there's a lot to pick up and learn and hack with this game. Invulnerability is possible. I can't remember what I set. And we'll just go and I'll just show the memory. So if we go back to here, which is 262C 2A, so 26 is down here, 262C 2A around here. When you die they get cleared to 0. If you used to knock these out, they wouldn't get cleared to 0, which is quite interesting. Another interesting feature, and I've not had a chance to play with it properly, is if we assemble that to always branch to 11CC8, so it's going to do the check and it's just going to branch every single time. It's going to branch. Exit out, and watch what happens when you die. So literally all I'm going to do here is die. Run round 4. Now, it isn't perfect. As I say, I've not investigated this any further than this. Other than to know that if I die now, it says round 5, but I'm actually back at round 1. And the interesting thing is there's no enemies. So obviously there's a flag that needs to be set. And there's another interesting feature as well. You can actually force it to never. So again, level 2, all enemies have been killed. So they're not showing. So you've literally got to kill the bad guy at the end, the giant spider, to progress onto combat land. There's another interesting. If we let's just disassemble it first, just to show you what's there. Okay, so if we A11 CC8 and just RTS, I think I could be wrong, it might crash. It's not done what I thought it'd do. There's a way of making it yeah, I can't remember what it is. There's a way of making it repeat the same level, the same part of the level that you're in. However, I can't remember how it was. It was like at midnight, 1 o'clock this morning, which was like what, 22 hours ago. So yeah. So anyway, have a play around in memory. As I say, player 1 is at that location. So you got your score here, you got your lives here. Oh, that was it. I remember now. We just die. I think I remember. Just warp it up a bit. Yep, so it's done what I thought. It's just playing the same level over and over. So it did work, kind of. You now cannot exit this level, ever. Unless you go back and repair the damage, which is, you know, jumping something like 11d8 or whatever it was, I can't remember. So the level will keep counting, but you'll just keep doing the same one. And that's just literally from knocking that out. It jumped, I can't even remember where it jumped. But yeah, anyway, so there you go. Have a good play. See if you can find anything that I haven't, and see if you can figure out the level skip. If anyone wants me to do anything else, I might do a captive one. Again, I was looking at this a while ago, and I was able to figure out how to move the droids to anywhere on the map, as well as the usual training of the weapons. However, the difference is in something like that, you train the hand, not the weapon. So whatever's held in the hand, you make maximum, or you make it so it doesn't delete. Thanks for listening. Hope this video wasn't too bad. It's, you know, as I say, it's the first one I've done. Check the links out for the Rainbow Island info that I put together 10 years ago, and the link to the manual. Any questions, feel free to give me a shout, either on Facebook or on EAB. Thank you very much. Have a good night.